The United Nations Food Agency has called a special meeting of policymakers to discuss the recent rise in global food prices. The announcement came after Russian President Vladimir Putin extended his country's ban on grain exports on Thursday. This added to fears that prices of food staples would continue to rise. The meeting will take place on 24th September, probably in Rome, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization said. Putin did not say when exactly the Russian grain export ban, originally to run from 15th August to 31st December, would be lifted, but said it would not be before next year's harvest had been wrapped. Russia is one of the world's biggest producers of wheat, barley and rye and was hit hard by a drought this summer. The heatwave destroyed crops in many parts of the country, pushing food prices up. BP says the cost of its Gulf of Mexico oil spill has risen to $8 billion, a rise of more than $2 billion in the last month alone. The company said it had paid out about $399 million in claims to those affected by the spill. Last week, responsibility for the claims was transferred to Gulf Coast Claims Facility, which has so far paid out a total of $38.5 million. Plans to permanently seal the well were also progressing well. BP said final sealing of the well is now expected to be completed later this month. BP said the cabin sack placed on the top of the well in July was removed on Thursday. This will allow the failed blower to prevent from the Deepwater Horizon rig to be removed and a new blowout preventer put in place. And before we look into sports, we'll look into the details of the talks of the Middle Eastern leaders from Palestine and Israel who are meeting in Washington.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu comes from a party, the Likud, that has been among the strongest backers of Israel, keeping much or all of West Bank and East Jerusalem and expanding Jewish settlements. In Israel's fragmented parliament, Netanyahu does not even command a majority in his own coalition government, a patchwork of Likud, the moderate Labour, the hawkish secular Israel Beitenu, and ultra-Orthodox Jewish Shas party. Concessions of the type, Netanyahu indicated, while not sufficient for the Palestinians, would likely bring down his government or force him to replace his hawkish partners with moderates. Palestinians demand an end to Israeli settlement construction in West Bank, and President Mahmoud Abbas has threatened to pull out of the talks if Netanyahu does not extend the partial construction freeze set to expire at the end of the month. Such construction is a deal-breaker, Abbas has declared, because it is taking away land that Palestinians envision for their state. Both sides agreed to a second round of talks to be held on September 14th to 15th, with Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton and Middle East envoy George Michel present. Meanwhile, militant Islamic Hamas group who controls Gaza and has not been included in the talks has rejected them as illegitimate. A spokesman for Hamas military wing, the Qassam Brigade, said on Thursday that they rejected the Middle East peace talks taking place in Washington, describing them as useless.
Pakistani bowler Mohammad Amir is being questioned under caution by police in London over allegations of corruption. Teammates Salman Butt and Mohammad Asif are also said to be questioned over the alleged deliberate no-balls in the fourth test against England at Lord's. The trio are provisionally suspended by the International Cricket Council for alleged irregular behaviour. ICC anti-corruption boss Sir Ronnie Flanagan said the players have an arguable case to answer. The players were charged with various offences by the ICC following the match with England, which England won by an innings and 225 runs to seal a 3-1 series triumph. But Asif and Amir have been charged under the Article 2 of ICC Anti-Corruption Code for players and player support personnel. And in accordance with the provisions of that code, they have been barred from playing until the case has been concluded.